Okay. Great. Well, let's get started. Welcome everybody to our final session for 2024. We've completed a whole year's worth of series. So whether you've been with us for one class or multiple classes or every class, welcome back. We're here in the right place for our culinary medicine event this evening. As Allison was saying, right, we have our Microsoft Teams. We do ask that everybody just stay muted and keep our cameras off just so that we can focus all of our attention on Chef Alyssa and what she's going to be demonstrating for us today. Feel free to put any questions as they come up into the chat. Allison and I will be reviewing that and attending to them in the order they are received. So thank you for that. And by way of introduction, here's who you have with you. So we've got of course, Allison and myself, we are both wellness coaches, health educators. So we are here to support and host and offer up information for you. And then we got the fabulous Chef Alyssa, who's been a personal chef for over 25 years, sharing all of her good flavor. And I just love this because it's good flavor and good nutrition. And isn't it nice to know that that combination actually exists? Good flavor and good nutrition. So she'll be sharing her recipes with us today, and I hope that we can try them at home as well. So we always kind of start off by just reviewing our why. It's really important to understand why we might want to move in this direction and what makes this type of eating style special. And what makes it special is that it's the only eating style that's been shown to prevent and reverse chronic diseases. And how often do we hear that in today's world where we can reverse disease? That's powerful. So we're talking about things like type 2 diabetes and heart disease, in the power of our forks and the power of our plates and our purchases. So that's exciting to me anyways. Whole food plant-based really means that we're celebrating our food in its most natural form. That means it's closest to the way it was grown. So we're thinking about fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds. In addition to looking at what we're adding to our plates, we're also aware of what we're minimizing. So we're wanting to minimize processed foods. So processed foods are the ones that come in packages, boxes, bags, right? And things with refined sugars, white flour, and our animal derived foods. Now, I get that this can feel a little daunting. It's different than how most of us grew up, and we can feel a little stuck sometimes, like I don't know what to eat or how to eat. And that's where we have this saying up here, eat food, not too much, and mostly plants. And while we would love to take credit for that, we can't because it was written by Michael Pollan. He's an American author and journalist. He's written lots of books on this subject matter, and he came up with that phrase, eat food, not too much, and mostly plants. So we hope that you will be curious today about healthier cooking. I'm also going to put a link in the chat if you want to learn more about this. Stanford School of Medicine put together a fantastic series in 2016. I know that seems like a long time ago, but the information is still relevant today. We strongly encourage you to check it out. It's just a series of 3 to 5 minute videos that give, again, practical skills, information, and just reinforce a lot of what we're talking about here today. I hope you had a chance to review the links to the handouts. One of them was the healthy plate. This is the style of eating we want to emphasize, and as you can see on the screen, making your plate colorful is really the main message here, making sure that you're getting half your plate with vegetables and then a fourth of it with protein. And notice we say that can include plant-based protein, which is what we're focusing on in here. So that's beans, lentils, tofu, and then we've got our whole grains. And sometimes we need to, explore grains we haven't maybe brought in before, and embracing farro or quinoa or, all of these different types of grains. So then finding out how exciting it can be. But really, again, the main takeaway is just adding some color to your plate. That way, you're moving in the right direction. We also offer a 90-minute class that our dietitians teach called The Healthy Plate. So if you're ever interested in diving more into that subject matter, just know that we have additional classes and resources to support that. Did I miss anything, Allison, before I get into this piece?
No,
I
you
think we
got it
got it all.
all.
Okay,
You
very
did.
good. Um, Before we get into the cooking aspect and I pass the baton over to Chef, I am going to just pull up the recipe she's going to be demonstrating today so she can review those ingredients with you. As a reminder, the links to access those recipes were included in your class invitation. So you can, pull them up, you can print them off, take notes, or save them for yourself. Again, I always like to just acknowledge that there are a range of people attending tonight. For some of you, it might be your very first time in this class and you're just wondering, what is this all about? And for others of you, you may have been with us. I think we've been doing this 3 years now. You may have been to several classes and refining that process. So just know that these recipes are adaptable to your personal tastes and preferences. If you're looking for any substitutions or just have questions about what an ingredient is or what to do with it or where to find it, please put that into the chat. We welcome all of your questions. We want you to leave here feeling really confident in the kitchen. So here's just a quick screenshot of, again, where you can find the links to the recipes for class today. So that's in your registration email. And I will go ahead and pull up our first recipe for today, which is the sweet potatoes. We're kind of focusing on holiday sides. That's our topic today. So we're preparing, right? Thanksgiving is on Thursday this week. So if you're, in the mood to bring something to a gathering, I hope you're going to get some exciting ideas. So Chef Alyssa, I'll pass this to you.
Thank you. Okay, so the first recipe we're going to make is called sweet potatoes Anna, and I'll describe that a little bit more before we start. But basically, it's thinly sliced sweet potatoes that you layer kind of in a domino effect in a pie plate. It could be any kind of casserole, but a pie plate kind of works well. And then we're going to bake it. Gonna season it however you like. So we'll talk through the different kind of seasonings you might want to use. That's the first one.
Okay, and I will go to the next one.
Yeah, and so we have a mesclun green salad with a fresh tangerine vinaigrette, shallot vinaigrette. And then we're gonna caramelize some pecans, and that's gonna be in the salad as well. And then just some nice fruit and whatever else, really salads, you can just add whatever you want to do. So we've got some ideas there too.
Beautiful.
And then the last thing, we're going to make is a pumpkin seed salad dressing, and we're going to combine that with some fresh kale and make a salad with the pumpkin seed dressing.
That one sounds really interesting and very festive, right? Pumpkin.
So colorful.
Moving in. Yeah. And thank you, Allison, for putting some screenshots of those into the chat, you guys. So that should make it easy to follow along as well. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the PowerPoint down so that we can focus all of our attention on Chef and her cooking and her screen. Ooh, that looks beautiful.
And I just want to double check with everyone. Yeah, go ahead and just chat in. We should have it spotlighted. You should be able to see that beautiful plate in the center, or the beautiful setup in the center. You can chat in yes if you do. And then it's looking great, Chef. Hand it over to you.
Okay. Well, what I have here is the recipe calls from sweet potatoes or yams. So I am looking for the orange kinds of sweet potatoes. He said, it can be anything you want. I have had a couple of, hit or misses. I had a couple of misses. I did some online ordering with Whole Foods, and I would get the, orange sweet potatoes, but inside it would be white. So when I'm shopping myself, I tend to just, if I want to make sure, I tend to kind of nick the ends of the sweet potato to make sure that I've got the orange one. Bottom line, it doesn't matter. It's just a little more colorful. And I think the orange ones are a little more flavorful too. So I have peeled the sweet potatoes and we are going to thinly slice them. And so I have a combination of olive oil, and I have like a vegan butter. If we're trying to keep it vegan, this is Earth Balance. Let's see, do I do it this way? Is that right?
Just like that.
So this is a one of the ones that I like the best, but there's a lot of different ones out there. Earth Balance. and you can just melt it. I melted it in the microwave, and then I chose the combination of rosemary and garlic powder, a little bit of salt. Been in the mood for more of a savory sweet potato dish, but you could do like cinnamon and maple sugar if you wanted to kind of sub out. If you had, like in my family, the traditions of sweet potatoes is like the sweet potato casserole with the mini marshmallows on top and lots of butter and brown sugar and cinnamon. So this would be kind of a nice variation. If you didn't want it to be that rich and sweet, you could do a little bit of maple syrup and cinnamon. That would be nice. The other thing you could do is you could do thyme and black pepper and do that kind of a flavor profile. But really, it's whatever you desire. So that the Heather had asked me, what does sweet potatoes Anna mean, the name of it? And I was telling her that I used to make a dish called potatoes Anna. I've made it several times in the past. And it's the same format, and the potatoes get kind of like scallop potatoes, where you slice it really thin and then you kind of layer them, and they get kind of they cook well, and then they get crispy on the edges. And I had thought it would be kind of fun to do a sweet potato version, just because my thought is that most people do mashed potatoes at Thanksgiving, but I could be wrong. So we're going to try the sweet potatoes on a. Again, you can sub in potatoes anytime you want. And I'm going to show you, I have one of these handheld mandolins. I've gotten actually a couple of them. You don't know me well, I love to shop at thrift stores and garage sales and things like that. And I found both of these at Savers at different times. And they have these, one is a Martha Stewart. And so they have a lock, you know, it's sharp, and it has 3 different widths of slicing. So for this one, if you happen to have this style of mandolin, I would go for 2. If it's thicker, it'll take a little longer to bake. That's really the bottom line. So I have it peeled. I soaked these in water while I was waiting to get ready for the class. I'm just going to show you. Let's see, try to do it on the side. This is just a nice.
Yeah, I was going to say, as you're doing it, we got this great chef, but I put a note, be very slow and steady for everyone new to the mandolin, because it's very sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Sharp
it's
tool.
not, you know, some of those ones are, this one is not as scary as some those other mandolins, but the bottom line is I never go all the way to the end. You know, there's no reason you can use the leftover sweet potato down by your thumb for something else.
Great tip.
Yeah. So yes, please be careful. And these are really nice and thin, as you can see. They're almost like a potato chip kind of a thinness. And then you can see it also makes quite a bit. So, going on the floor. And I'm going to stop. See, stopping at that. And based on, so there's a lot of variables. So based on the size of your pie plate, because I am a little low, all my pie plates have not returned to me. So I went and got this one, which is kind of a medium size. So I'm going to bake it in this pie plate. And the first thing you do is you can combine your butter and your earth balance in your oil. The other thing is I had some fresh rosemary I was lucky to get today. And if you want to add rosemary, the way I do it is I pull it off the stem. This is all washed, just so you know. And then I chop it with my knife, which is not here. So you would just mince it real fine with your knife. And then you can add that into the melted earth balance, whatever you're using, in olive oil, salt. then you can put a little bit. This is another tool that I really like, is a basting brush. So I'm going to just baste the bottom.
I have a question for you as you're doing that. How do you wash your basting brush when you're done? Just hot water, soap and water? Like, what's the best way to wash those?
Yeah, soapy warm water.
Soapy warm water.
I don't do my dishwasher that often, but when I do, then I'll put it in the dishwasher to kind of give it a good wash.
It's a great tool.
Oh, yes, I love it. Okay, so I am just going to layer it. How would you describe this? I'm saying domino. Is there another way to describe it?
I think any pattern you like, but I think
layering.
Layering it.
Okay.
Pinwheeling it. I don't know.
Pinwheeling. That's your pin.
Oh, yeah. Along that line, I wanted to show you a variation. Okay. So then you can do another layer. Well, then it would be kind of good at this point to just some of this wonderful flavoring on.
And I think when you're doing that, the nice thing about having a brush is you have so much more control about how much you're adding on versus pouring. You know, when we pour, we think we're doing a little bit, but we might be putting on too much. So it's a nice investment there.
So I'm going to just continue here, but I was also going to explain that the other way that you can do this is you can layer them in muffin tins if you want, and you can create stacks.
Make a stack.
Yeah.
Oh.
Have you ever done that?
I did do that one time, but I've forgotten about it.
Yeah. And did it fit in your muffin?
I think it did, but you do have to watch the size of it because some of the potatoes are shaped differently, right?
Yeah.
So some of them might be too big to fit in the muffin tin.
Right. And so I don't have any, I only have the mini ones. So I'm like, okay, well, that's not going to work for me, but I can do stacks, you know? So if it doesn't fit in your muffin, the size of your muffin pan, then you can do stacks. So I'm just going to do one more layer, and then we'll show that option, because that's kind of fun too, right? That's festive. Okay, so I've got them all spiral. I'll do one more. Then I'm going to cover this with foil, put it in the oven, show you a stack, and then and also show you what I baked. I baked a little mini one this afternoon. So I'm going to show you that option too. Okay, so here we go. We're going to put this in the oven. It's just layered. Okay, I'm going to cover it with foil. I'll be right back.
And it is such a great, healthy alternative. You have so much more control. It's so beautiful, colorful. And, you know, think about when you make mashed potatoes and how much cream and butter and all these things you add in. And if we're trying to make some good, healthy choices, you know, this is a really nice way to go.
Okay, so we're going to just show you the other options. So if you do a stack, you can toss it. You can put these in a bowl. And you can toss it with some of this. I'm just going to.
We love the options.
Yeah, right. And they're so pretty, these ones. You can just layer them like this, almost like Pringles.
It's great because it makes a serving size, right? It's just easier for people to grab a little stack versus trying to get it out of the pan.
Right. Yeah. And then what you can do now, Heather, you can tell me how you did it, but in the recipe, oh, my hands are misty. Oh, sorry. In the recipe, it was saying you could, to keep them from toppling, you could put a toothpick. Did you do that?
Oh, I didn't, because I had mine in a muffin tin, so that kind of held them together versus being freeform. But that's a great idea.
Would you
Easy
still
to
put
grab
tin
too.
foil over it on this?
No, this one
No.
you don't.
Mm.
That's good.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Just put it there. And then when you're pow, you take out the toothpick and then you would put in a sprig of the rosemary.
Oh, that'd be really nice. Looks so fancy.
Oh, that'd be
Presentation,
beautiful.
right?
Oh, look at, yeah, that's great. Like a little
Yeah, of course
holiday
they're hard now,
tree.
so
Yeah,
oh,
Yeah.
and you
cool.
can do,
That's
yeah.
great.
Anyways, this is just
Beautiful.
another way that you can make little stacks and just have that. Yeah.
Do you think that
So
how
that's,
is the cooking time? How would you gauge it?
Adjust.
Yeah.
I would do it about the same, but that was what I was saying earlier before the classes. There's so many variables, right? Because how thick were they? I would start 400 at 30 minutes, and then check. Try poke it with. I have this baking, I don't know, little metal baking,
Mm-hmm.
like a
Kester.
toothpick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I often use that, but you could do it with a sharp knife or a toothpick and just see where you're at and then just continue on and use that as a gauge.
Yeah, if it's too hard and doesn't go in easily, it needs more cooking. If it's soft and comes out, you'll know
Yeah,
it's ready.
yeah. And then the other variable, well, I just wanted to show you is I have this little, I don't know, depending upon your appetite, this could be a 1 or a 2-person pie plate. Yeah. And so I had spiraled those white ones that I got that were supposed to be orange, the sweet potatoes with the orange ones. And so I baked this off earlier. Now I had sliced those orange ones on the setting of 1, which was actually kind of thick. So it took a little bit longer. So that was, again, one of the variables. And if you're going to hand slice it, they might be on the thicker side. So there's just, don't get discouraged is where I'm trying to just go, is, to explain that just know that there's some leeways here with all recipes, but especially with this one, if you don't have a mandolin or depending upon the thickness. Yeah. So that is, and so this is a sweet potato Anna. I've got the other one in the oven. I'll cook these. I'm cooking it in my little smart oven, so I'll cook this stack separately, which will be a lot of fun to see how that is. I think another thing that would be kind of fun is to do layer it with regular russet potatoes. Do russet potatoes and sweet potatoes, yeah. And you could even do the purple ones. That'd be really fun. Just have a tricolor stack or
Ooh,
a
that would be
spiral and a
beautiful.
casserole.
Add all the
I have
colors.
a question for you about, the starch. When you're cutting potato up, often you have
Yeah,
some water and you keep it soaking in there till you use it. I don't know if you do that.
I
With
did.
sweet potatoes, you don't have to do that, or
I
what's
did.
your, you
I
do, you,
did, because they can start getting brown. I don't,
okay.
yeah.
So having a bowl with some water or ice water as you're
Mhm.
prepping and putting your potatoes and sweet potatoes in there, keep it from oxidizing, just give it a little rinse out in the colander, not rinse or empty it out and then pat dry it a little. Is that
Yes, I did. I
okay?
did dry it because I didn't want to, actually, I didn't want to slip this
Yep.
mandolin.
Yes.
Didn't want it to be wet and then my hands get,
Yep.
to hurt myself.
I was thinking also when they're sliced, because that was something I learned the hard way. I'm the beginning. I'm not the greatest chef in the kitchen, but these little tips are helpful to know.
Yeah, and then if it's wet, it's not gonna, the flavors aren't gonna adhere to it as much, when you initially are basting it. So that'd be another reason why it'd be nice to kind of dry it off before you continue on with the recipe.
Great.
Now, if you
Okay.
use multiple varieties of potatoes, will they
Mhm.
all cook similarly?
Well, I believe the sweet potatoes, haven't had,
Okay. Like the purple, the orange, I can
yeah,
mix them.
I
Okay.
haven't had any experience that they've cooked differently. I think it's more the thickness.
Yeah.
Um,
But you can do some of the prep beforehand, then lay them out, dry them, and get it all ready to assemble.
right.
That's very
And then
helpful.
you could, because this has where you bake it with foil to, cook it. And then you test it with a toothpick to make sure it's cooked. And then you take off the foil, remove it for good. And then you're going to bake it off and get it crispy and browned. So you could do that part, right? If you want to do it the day before for Thanksgiving or potluck or something like that, the holidays, you could do that initial bake off and then do the final, 10, 15 minutes to brown it and reheat it, to save some time.
That's a great idea.
Right before wherever it is that you're going to, whatever gathering and party and wonderful edible fest.
Perfect. Great tip. I wouldn't have thought of that. Love that idea.
So we'll, well, I guess if there's no more questions, I will continue on with the next recipe. And then we'll take that out. We'll check on it at the end of class. You can smell it already. Any questions?
I don't see any in the chat. But feel free, you guys, to chat them in. Does this seem doable for you? I mean, I think it sounds pretty doable.
Yeah, it sounds
doable. I know it, and I love it. Is it okay to use avocado oil instead?
Oh yes, what did this recipe? Where is it? It's right under here. It's under everything. Oh yes, definitely could use avocado oil, because I know I used avocado oil in the next recipe. So yes, you can interchange it however you want.
I'm definitely ready to try those little stacks. I feel like I can do that at my next party. I'm like, oh, I'll look really fancy.
You will.
A chefy move.
Okay, I'm gonna move on. That's okay. And bring up, we're gonna make that tangerine vinaigrette and the pecans, roasted pecans. Just clear my area.
Fabulous. And it's just so nice, when you see it, it's not that hard to do. Sometimes we just get overwhelmed by thinking we have to make something or do something. And it's so nice to see it doesn't take a lot. Just get the things together a little bit ahead of time and you've got something ready to go.
Okay. So we're going to, let me get everything up here. We're going to first toss the pecans and get them toasting in the oven. And then we are going to make the dressing.
I love this time of year. It's like the time that pecans come out. They don't really shine at other times of the year except for Thanksgiving, and then suddenly it's like, ta-da, pecans.
They're so yummy.
They are yummy. Yeah, especially toasted.
Okay. And we'll talk about what is a mesclun salad. I tend to like to line my baking sheet with parchment paper. You could use a silicone baking mat, but I'm a big fan of parchment.
Me too. And then I learned another little tip when you can roll that all up if you want, like scrunch it all up, and then you can put it, it'll fit into your tray a little easier if you aren't nice and, making these beautiful, neat corners. But I love that. So if you have kids at home too, it's fun to let them ball them all up and stretch them on the.
Oh, see, I didn't know about that. Explain it a little bit more. So
yeah, little Martha Stewart tip. When you get it, you can crunch all that up in a ball and it makes it, then it kind of, especially when you're making pies, it makes it fit into the pan a little bit easier. When you scrunch it, it doesn't stay up. But yours looks pretty, so don't do it now. At the end of class, you can do it for fun. It is fun.
Okay, so the next one we're making is a mesclun salad with caramelized pecans and a tangerine vinaigrette. So mesclun greens are basically, and you can use any kind of greens you want, but this is something local that Ma'o has. It's a combination of, usually it's different kinds of more on the greens that are on the bitter side. So I've got tatsoi and mizuna and arugula. Sometimes there's spinach. It could be baby spinach in here. So it's just a combination of just little kind of tender lettuces. You could use spinach. You could use whatever you want, but it was just an idea for today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a cup of, okay, here we go. A cup of pecans. And I am going to toss it with a mixture of olive oil, maple syrup, a little bit of cayenne, and a pinch of salt. I'm going to toss them together. You just really, what you want is you just want them to be coated well. It doesn't have to be, you don't, if it looks like that's enough, you don't have to put it all in. You add just a little bit more. And then I'm going to put it on a baking sheet in a single layer. These are so fun to eat. You want it more spicy, you can add more cayenne, or you can even do like a little bit of sriracha or chili pepper in there. You could, you know, again, you can play with that. So 350 degrees, I'm going to bake this for about 10 minutes. So you can see I have it nice and flat. I'm going to go pop this in the oven. I'll be right back.
Now the key is watching them. I always tend to burn the nuts because I get distracted trying to multitask, and then I go back and I'm like, no. So yeah, set a timer or check on them so that they don't burn.
Yes, it's good not to be too distracted in the kitchen. I think it's one of those things that being mindful how you're making your food, being there and ready is always a good tip.
Yeah, you know, and again, depending upon the type of oven you're using. Now I have, like I said, I have a smart oven, a little Breville. So, you know, it is good to keep an eye on it. Just keep your nose aware of how things are going. It might heat up more depending upon what you have, right? Big ovens, small ovens. Sometimes ovens aren't running at the temperature that the gauge says. So it's kind of just understand what you have, the dynamics in your household or wherever you are at. If you're not sure, then start at, you know, at 5 minutes, check it. So, but I do agree, being in the kitchen is very helpful. Don't go wandering around folding laundry or something.
Getting lost on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had a beautiful tangerine that I juiced. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of those kind of a bullet type blender. So I'm going to put everything inside, and then if you don't have that, you can just whisk it. So the recipe is you have tangerine juice. It could be orange juice, maple syrup, Dijon or stone ground mustard. I have a minced shallot. I have salt and pepper, and some olive oil. Again, and you could use a light avocado oil on this one too. Combine all ingredients except the olive oil, and then whisk in the olive oil to emulsify. So I will go ahead and do that. I have hand whisked it before, so which would be just, we're just going to put everything in. Because I have my little smart tool, I'm going to take advantage of it, and I'll show you what it looks like. So this is the tangerine. This is the maple syrup. This is my shallot, which it said, yeah, a tablespoon, which is, I had a big shallot, so I just used like half a shallot. Half a teaspoon of mustard. Again, this is all really subjective. If you like,
is that Dijon mustard?
This is, I am using Dijon today.
Yeah, not like a regular mustard. Okay.
Yes, it's not the yellow. And I don't have any stone ground in the house right now. So 1/4 teaspoon salt, pepper. Okay.
And shallots really give a nice flavor. They really do, a nice mild taste.
So like I said, you could hand whisk this, and then you could pour in the olive oil like this, right? If you weren't doing it by the my little Cuisinart Ninja, whatever you call it, blender, mini blender. I just wanted to show you the format. I'm going to go ahead, because I have it, I'm going to put it all in. And I have a lid here. So I'm just going to put the lid on and then blend it. I would think this might be a common thing for people to have in their kitchens. It's right behind me, plugged in. So I'm just gonna go over here and
yep, whiz away. The things that are nice is that a lot of the new, what do you call those? Mixers come with the smaller attachments now, which is nice. You know, when you get the, what do you call those, Heather? Not food processors, but why am I forgetting the name? You guys know what I'm talking about.
They're like mini blenders?
Yeah, blenders. Now a lot of the blenders come with those smaller ones because
like
the
a cup,
base,
like
yeah,
a cup
they make
size.
it, yeah,
For
so you can really
smoothies and
make these
things.
smoothies and dressings and yeah.
Right. It's just so wonderful. So now I've got it all nice and blended. So it's emulsified. And we have our pecans that are toasting. So I'm going to just put this over here behind me.
And Ben, you wrote, can you use an immersion blender? Yes, those are great too.
Yes, definitely you can use an immersion blender.
I like mine.
I do too. Fun to have some various kitchen tools here. And then what I did was, so I've got my mesclun greens. I had a firm pear that was ripe, and I didn't peel it, but you could have peeled it if you so desire. I'm going to put that in here. And then I've got my, going to go check my nuts. I think that's been about 6 minutes. A little bit more. So it needs a little bit more.
Will you talk a little bit about the mesclun green, a little comparatively, if you don't mind?
And comparative to,
like, you know, like some people go, what is a mesclun green, or what is that compared to a different? Is it just more a robust one? Is it like, I see your kale over there, you know, people, I know I'm not a big arugula fan, so I often change that, but some people love the peppery taste. Can you just explain if someone hasn't had a mesclun green? What
so
is?
Well, it's like a combination of young lettuce. At least that's my interpretation. Mesclun greens tend to be small, young, different kind of lettuces that are more on the, I would say more on the bitter side, maybe not necessarily, but this one had mizuna. I didn't know if you're familiar with mizuna, but that's a green that they use in Japanese ozoni, the New Year's, what is that? Miso soup, the mochi soup. They use those, they put the greens in that soup traditionally. I don't know if there's mizuna on the mainland as much, but in Hawaii, they have it, farmers do. So there's that, there's tot soy, which is kind of in the pak choy or bok choy family. So that's this one. That's a tot soy, a leaf of tot soy. And then there's the arugula. This all came together, and this came from Ma'o Farms, and it was called the Sassy Salad. They sell that at Down to Earth. This is mizuna. But you could buy anything like at Whole Foods, one of those, just a mixed green, how they have those in their little plastic containers. Is that
Perfect.
helping at
Yes,
all?
you really said it well, because it is. It's basically mesclun. It just means mixed, and you said it, young greens. And so I think, you know, you're really going well with the local, because that's what we have more here. So yes, thank you, Chef. Perfect.
Okay. And I got 2 different pears. I wasn't sure how they were going to ripen. I didn't want it too ripe, so I had the red one, and this is a Bosque, and this one seemed to be nice and firm. So I sliced it. I put a little lemon juice on just because of the class dynamics. I didn't want it to start getting too brown. And I am going to pull out the pecans because those are almost ready. And then what we'll do is we'll just toss it and serve it with the toasted pecans, and that would be our salad. And then you can do, you know, you can really do whatever you want, you know, make it more colorful. You can have cranberries, tomatoes, or carrots, and That's what's so fun about salads, right? You can do whatever you enjoy. Red radishes. Oh, they're gorgeous.
Yeah. Get another
You kind of get a
suggestion.
base.
Yeah, watercress sprouts. I'll say another one that's good fun in salads.
Ooh.
Pomegranate seeds are so fun and so colorful and look very holidays and
That's
add a
what I
nice
bought
pop.
for my salad that I was going to make for Thanksgiving has pomegranate, so I bought one. Yep.
Makes you feel like a kid when you're whacking the pomegranate and they all fall out. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to take lessons from you, Allison, because I don't really know how to get at
I
that
don't know how to do
pomegranate.
that. You'll have
It's a
to
little
watch that,
daunting.
try that. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So I've seen it where you do it in water, but I don't know.
Oh.
Have you seen that where you do it underwater? You open it up like in a bowl of water.
Food is fun.
Yeah. I don't know.
Neat.
So these are nice and toasty. 10 minutes. So I'm going to just put a little in it and then I'll top it with a little bit more. This is hot, so I'm going to put it down.
I know, Heather, you're just getting hungry looking at that, looking at those pecans.
I am. I want to reach through the screen and eat
Ooh.
them right now.
Yeah. And then we're just going to toss it with this nice tangerine vinaigrette.
I wonder if some cranberries, dried cranberries would be good in there.
That would be nice. Yeah, I did actually look. I, for some reason, am out of dried. I had fresh, but I thought, would we want to put fresh cranberries?
Yeah.
Pomegranates would be better.
Much, right?
But I think that's the fun of salads, right? You can really put it in and you know, as we're doing our Mediterranean eating half our plate greens, look at how easy that was and how if you're that's one of my ways of making my Thanksgiving plate healthier is I load it up with the salad underneath so I don't have much room for all the other things. Instead of going the other way around, I go on the table by the salad first.
Yeah. Well, it's a good point, Allison.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great idea. So I'm just topping it with a little bit. An apple would be nice, you know. So you would probably want to cut your fruit right before serving so it doesn't, you know, start to oxidize. That would be my one tip. Make it pretty. But I definitely think something red would be nice in here too. You know?
And it's a hearty green, so it can, you know, if you take this to a party, it's not going to be too wilted. It's going to get more flavorful. I mean, you do it right before, but that's what's nice about this kind of greens. They definitely hold their, you know, hold the shape a little.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions?
I don't see any coming in, and that's a great way to guarantee, right? If you bring the salad, you know you can make half your plate vegetables, right?
Yeah.
Right there, you got it.
And it's always fun to have kind of a different salad dressing too. And this one lasts well in the fridge. Okay, so we're going to move on to number 3.
Perfect. There we go.
Hands are getting messier as we go on. Okay, so we're going to talk about pumpkin seeds. And we're also going to talk about kale. So ma'o. I had luck with ma'o. You know, this time of the year is a great time of the year for greens, especially like winter greens. And ma'o has these beautiful young kale leaves that they sell. Oh, is this ma'o or it might be, sorry, Co Farms also has these beautiful bags of kale. Anyways, I just wanted to show you. This is all washed and cut up. I mean, I broke it up, but it's just so tender. So I gave it a good wash and rinse. But you can see they're small little leaves. So it's almost like lettuce. You know, some kale is pretty hardy, but this could go in that Mesclun green salad easily because it's so tender.
Have you massaged those, you know, when you have tough kale, clean hands, right? Chef's best friend. But when you have it, you can massage those greens a little with kale and it kind of softens them up a little as well.
Yes, definitely. Thank you for adding that. Okay, so I have some soaked pumpkin seeds that I soaked them in some warm water. 15 minutes is good, but I was prepping this afternoon, so they were soaking for probably an hour, hour and a half. And I just drained it before class. And then I have this shredded red cabbage, and I have some celery and carrots and some additional pumpkin seeds to add into the kale. And then what we're going to do is we're going to blend all of this together. We have, we have the pumpkin seeds, 6 tablespoons of water, lemon juice, light oil. So I used avocado oil, maple syrup. You can drop that if you're kind of watching your sugars. 1 teaspoon of mustard, and you can also increase that if you really like a lot of mustard flavor. Salt and a pinch of cayenne. So this is my cayenne and salt. I have a feeling I didn't do the water, so 6 tablespoons of water. So we're going to combine all of the dressing ingredients. 6 tablespoons is 5 tablespoons is a third of a cup. So I'll do a third of a cup and a tablespoon. So these are kind of damp. I'm going to put, this is the other blending cup with this Cuisinart little mini blender that I have.
As you're getting that together, I'll say another great tool for the kitchen that I love if you do a lot of salads is a salad spinner, because it's so important to wash all our vegetables really well. But when you have salad, you want to really dry those lettuce, the leaves, and those spinners, if you've ever seen them, they're really fantastic. We had those growing up, so I can't have my kitchen without it. Great tool.
They are a good tool.
But if you don't have one, a kitchen cloth and kind of shake it out works well too.
This is fresh lemon juice. I love the Myers lemons, the local Myers lemons, if you ever have an opportunity.
I do have a question. What do you use to wash your greens? Do you do anything?
Oh, I put them in, I have like this little, like a little tub. So I just soak them in the tub, and then I
just in water.
Bring them in yes, just water. Okay. My battery is running low. Huh, I charged it. Interesting. Okay, and this is, excuse me, my oil. And I'm going to go ahead over here and do a quick blend. Please bear with me. Make noise.
Oh, we lost her picture. Let's see.
Oh.
Yeah, I wonder if it went
Maybe
out.
The one phone
so
died.
Let's see. Let me see. I'm going to, I don't know if your phone died. I'm going to stop spotlighting that. Or did something unplug by chance, Chef? Because your main,
battery.
that's okay. Yes.
We'll spotlight her instead.
Yeah, I'm going to spotlight you now, and then we'll just, we only have 10 minutes left. We can do it. You'll just have to show it. I'm going to spotlight this and stop spotlighting the other one for a moment. So Chef, you're going to be just having to show us. That's all right. If you can't get the your phone plugged in.
I should be able to do it. Hold on.
Okay. We love it. This is the joy of live teams.
There we go.
Okay, let's
should
see.
Be back.
As it goes back on, we'll see when it comes back on. I'll put it back. But right now you're right in front of us. We're looking at you because there's nothing showing on your other one yet. It probably has to charge a little bit. So that's all right. We're down to the last little bit, and if you have to kind of lift it to show us, that's great. We can see you cooking.
Okay. So I've got the kale. Let's see. So where are you? Here?
Mm-hmm.
Is this where?
There we go.
It says started. Oh, okay. All right. Like this? Is that what you want to do?
Oh, well, no, as long as we could see you, just as you don't have to hold it. I want you to be able to just leave it where it was. I don't know why the other one didn't work, but just, you can lift. That's perfect. Just like it is now. You can just show us. We have a good idea. We could see the salad bowl. It's just the other one doesn't have any video. Everyone good with that? We can see our beautiful chef. We have a beautiful green bowl in front of us. It's great. Looks good. Don't worry.
Okay.
Well, luckily we already saw the ingredients.
Yes,
so.
we saw it all. And
Yeah.
look at now we're getting exactly, and you can just turn it and show it. Yeah.
It's like a nice creamy dressing.
Yeah. I could probably blend it a little bit more. I just didn't want to be there much longer. Okay, and then what I tend to do when I make a salad, and maybe you do too, is I'll blend in most of it. And then I'll add a little bit at the very end just to make it pretty.
Oh, that's a good idea. Just on the top, because it all, when you mix it, it always ends up down below.
Right. Avocado would be nice in either one of these salads. You know, my girlfriend came over the other night and she brought the salad and she had put a pomelo in it, you know, and pomelo and avocado, and it was so delicious. I don't know if I've had a couple of pomelo recently that have just been wonderful, which also could be grapefruit if you don't have access to pomelo. But that's why I put grapefruit as an option, because it was such a wonderful flavor combination. To still not coming on, huh? Okay. So this is my salad.
We can see it. It looks great.
Looks beautiful. Very colorful, like we talked about at the beginning, right? We want that color.
Yeah. And then you could do dried cranberries in this one too, or cherry tomatoes. That would be nice. The oven just made a noise. I'm going to go see how our sweet potatoes are doing.
And I'm just, because it's me, is a pomelo like a sweeter than a grapefruit? Is it a grapefruit variety? Since I'm not so.
Oh, I don't know that much about pomelo. My sister actually has a tree. Pomelo, yeah.
Yeah, I know it's Southeast Asian fruit.
I believe they're like a cousin of grapefruit.
Okay.
They tend to be, to me, I think they tend to be sweeter. Not as tart. Sometimes they are, you know, sometimes they're dry. But boy, I've had some really good ones lately. So this is where we're at right now. Let me get up something to poke it.
See, we feel like we're at the table. We get to watch you do all the work. This is what happens at Thanksgiving. We watch people cook and put it all together.
Yeah. When they're thin, they really cook well and quick. And I only have one. Can you see it? Oh.
Yep.
Ooh, let's see.
Yeah. Let's see. Move the green bowl for a minute. Just for a second. There we go.
I'm going to put it on high to toast it.
Okay.
But anyways, they're all cooked. And there's lots of...
What does that mean, high? You like broil or?
Well, I'm just, the foil's off.
Okay.
So I'm just going to allow the heat to.
So same temperature.
Yeah, sorry. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Excuse me.
Got it.
Just no foil.
So 10 to 15 minutes without the foil.
And I hope you guys are getting motivated, feeling like, oh, maybe a nice healthy side.
I'm thinking about like changing up my Thanksgiving menu.
I know.
Now that
I think I'm gonna make those little stacks.
I know.
Because you could put a lot on a cookie sheet. Yeah. Love the salad dressing. You're inspiring us, Chef.
And roasted chickpeas would be nice in this too, right?
Yeah.
Either one of them would be really nice. Cucumbers, yeah, whatever you have in the house. Make it nice and colorful.
Yeah. Beautiful.
All right.
We'll get the other salad.
We have about 5 minutes left.
Okay.
Look at that. 3 things in less than an hour.
Yeah.
We can do this.
Wow.
Little prep time. Yeah.
All right. Any questions, you guys? Does this seem doable? Anybody planning to try these this week?
Maybe Chef, while she's doing, you can take your phone and kind of go above it so we can look the one that you have. Yeah, or the computer, just so we can.
Oh,
there we go. Look at that.
I'm surprised. I plugged the computer back in and I
move it.
Yeah.
A little towards. There we go. Right there for a second.
I am feeling thankful right now. I'm feeling thankful for these awesome recipes and that beautiful food that I just feel healthy looking at it. And
Yeah.
isn't that what we want? That's a good sign. When we feel healthy just looking at the food before we've even put it in our body, we know we're moving in the right direction.
You can put it down. We don't want your arm to be tired. Put your computer
I
back
keep
down.
touching. I'm sorry. I'm
That's
sorry.
great. Perfect.
Yeah.
Lots of people
Thank
saying the
you.
food looks
Beautiful.
beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
Thank you.
very
Thanks.
inspiring.
All
Yeah.
right.
It's
Okay.
always nice to have a homemade dressing too. It kind of changes things up a bit.
Ooh, I like that idea, Ben. 3-color stack sounds pretty cool.
Ooh, I
That's
know.
right,
I
and I
think I
like
want
that.
to
I
try that too.
know. And I like
I'm
the
just gonna
little,
put this
yep. As you're getting
PowerPoint
that,
back on
yeah,
real quick.
finish, and then when we can look at the end with the browning if
Yep.
it comes through. But yeah, let's get the end. That you guys
Okay.
are in our last class of the year. I love it. Really
Well, I like
appreciate
that
it.
word enticing. That's a good word.
Enticing, yes.
Uh, okay, so just a reminder, this is our last class for 2024. So no class next month, and we will resume in January. So a point to note, you guys, is we're going to be moving to Thursday evenings instead of Monday evenings. So it's, what is it, the fourth
Yep.
Thursday, Allison? Fourth Thursday of the month, from still the same time, 5 to 6 p.m. So January 23rd will be the next one. We don't have our topics yet, but I would love if you guys have a desire to learn a certain thing or a certain topic or a certain recipe or food group that you'd be really interested in learning about, please put it into the chat today, because we're going to be meeting next month to discuss what those topics are, and we want to make them relevant and appealing to you. So let us know that. In addition, we have, of course, wellness coaching. So if you want some support and some accountability in putting this into practice, if you find yourself like, oh, I have these pile of recipes that I've watched, but I haven't made any yet, you might want to partner with a wellness coach, and we can check in with you and create some goals, have some deadlines, so that we're actually integrating the knowledge that we're getting. And just a quick showcase of the other classes that we have. So this is our December 2024 class schedule. So like I mentioned at the beginning, our Get Your Plate in Shape class is on there. That's an hour and a half. All of these classes are virtual, so hopefully that makes it easy for you to attend. But we hope you'll check out all of the other classes and programs as well. And with
Yes.
that, I'm
That's
going to
it.
take this down, and so we can look and end with the food again, and look
Or
how
with, yeah,
beautiful that is,
exactly. And yes,
and get
Lana, we're going to
inspired.
have more bean recipes next year for sure. We can't
Okay.
not have them. We're always asking for great bean recipes. So
Mm-hmm.
thanks for that thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, any
All
other
right.
thoughts on something you want to learn? Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
Yes. Any questions for Chef before we don't have her on the line? And you're welcome.
Yeah.
Honestly, thanks for the year, Chef Alyssa. You've made
Mm-hmm.
cooking fun and
Oh, thank
colorful.
you.
And
Yeah,
yes, these
fun.
are recorded. Sandy, what happens is you'll get the link for everyone who's attended. Once it's made, you get an email with a YouTube of this class.
Yeah.
Thanks to John in our background for always getting that together for us.
This
Ooh,
isn't done yet,
Oh,
but
that's okay.
oh,
We
look at
get
it
the idea.
bubbling
We
though.
see it
yeah.
bubbling. Don't
I can
burn yourself,
practically
Chef. Yeah.
smell it
Yep.
from the
Bring it towards
through
you.
the
There we go.
screen.
Right there. That's good enough.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyways, I would put fresh rosemary or parsley or something on top
Yes.
of it green, but that's,
Yep.
yes, it's getting hot.
Yeah. We don't want any. We got the idea. Safe in the kitchen.
Yeah.
All
Great.
right.
So happy
Thank
Good.
you'll
you
be using
again.
them. Thanks. Thanks everyone for joining us. Wow. We are nothing if not punctual. We did that right on time, you
Right on
guys.
time.
And
Perfect, Chef.
I encourage you all after your long day, take a moment before you kind of jump into the next thing you have to do. Just be aware of taking care of your own healthy balance and feeling good, and give yourself a pat on the back for taking the time to take care of you. So we're glad you did it with us. And Heather, Chef Alyssa, happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Look
Yes.
forward to next year.
Thank you.
Thankful for all of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for all the people we've seen throughout the whole year coming to classes, it's been so great to have you with us. Great.
Farzaneh says she's going to make it all.
Yep.
Very good.
I know it all started with an Asian tofu burger for me, and I
Oh, you
never
know what?
looked back.
I made those Korean tofu patty. I make them all the time. I made them last night.
Mm-hmm.
So they're my meal prep for the week. I still
Yeah.
love that recipe. And I made the Asian tofu marinade
Yes,
last
that's
week.
so good.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, you make it doable.
Yeah, yeah.
So you
All
found your
right.
way into our kitchens.
You have. You've inspired us. Great. All right, you guys, enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks, Alyssa. Have a
Thank
great evening,
you.
Yeah.
everyone.
We'll get
Bye.
together with you in
Bye-bye.
December. Okay.
Yep. Bye-bye. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you.